Next on Deck with Tim Black.
Look, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are not taking the same exam.
Yeah.
And I think it bothers people. They're not taking the same exam. He gets to be lawless. She has to be flawless.
Kamala Harris is not doing well, guys. I got proof.
Half, 49%, say they are worse off today financially than they were a year ago. 35% say they're about the same. Only 16% say they're better off. I'll also just say we have Joe Biden at a low approval rating at 36% in this poll. We have the wrong track number. 7 out of 10 Americans say we're in the wrong direction. Things aren't going well.
I have solid proof.
Harris has lost all her post-convention bouts. She went from +3 in the September NBC poll to -10 back where she was in our August survey. That's a sign Trump has been landing blows on her image, and maybe perhaps she's been doing it to herself as well.
Oh, yeah.
Harris versus Trump national margin. You mentioned that New York Times poll, a tie. That's actually right in the middle of the spectrum when we're talking about recent polling data. You don't have to look very far to find Donald Trump ahead nationally. He was up by 2 points in the CNBC poll, up by 3 in the Wall Street Journal poll. Very close races within the margin of error. But then the same thing on the other side, right? You have Harris up by 3 points according to Ipsos. The Say 24 YouGov poll, it's a bunch of academics, also has Harris up by 3. But the bottom line is, with the popular vote, which we really haven't focused upon, a very, very tight race, John. Fact is, Donald Trump is very much in a position he could win the popular vote, which, of course, is something he would absolutely love to do.
And would be something very different than we have seen compared to last time and the polling compared to last time.
Exactly right. So I went back through the time machine, all right? I went back through the time machine to see where were the past 2 races at this point in the campaign. Look, Harris in the average poll right now is up by 1. Well within the margin of error. You go back 4 years ago, Joe Biden was well ahead of Donald Trump in the national popular vote polls. He was up by 9. Even Hillary Clinton was up by 6 points. So now Donald Trump's in a position he really hasn't been before at this point in the campaign where he could truly compete, and we can truly say that the popular vote at this point is way too close to call.
Now, there are some reasons for this, and I think Democrats' heads are all exploding out there watching this right now.
Yeah, there are reasons for it. It's called Trump won his primary 3 times in a row. It means he's very popular amongst his base. His base comes out, okay? And that's just the way it is. That's just the facts. You ain't got to spin it. I just want to know the numbers, baby. Let us work backwards from the numbers and figure it out, because more people are favoring his policies on that side of the ball. Those people, there are people that are supporting him. That's it. It ain't rocket science, man. He has not done anything that's, I don't know, under the radar, totally different. It's just he's been consistent, and those people prefer his policies. And we've had a horrible 4 years when it comes to economics for the average working person. Inflation is a killer. That's going to be a thing that people are going to point to. Then you couple that with what happened with the border. I mean, most people did not realize 10, 15, some say as many as 20 million people came through our border. And then people want to act like that's just a mistake, an accident, and being unprepared. Like, there are people still that don't see that as a problem.
Look, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are not taking the same exam.
Yeah.
And I think it bothers people. They're not taking the same exam. He gets to be lawless. She has to be flawless.
Regarding the rapid increase in the migrant population, how will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with? And how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken, and it needs to be fixed. And it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border. I will tell you, I'm the only person in this race among the 2 choices that voters have. I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations.
He gets to be lawless. She has to be flawless.
Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall.
He gets to be lawless. She has to be flawless.
You're agreeing to a
come
bill
on.
that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it. People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is the most important point that can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing.
He gets to be lawless. She has to be flawless.
Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on this? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I'm not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
But no, Van Jones. Kamala Harris does not have to be flawless. What she has to do is she has to answer questions. But it's a little late in the game now, isn't it? This is a question you should have had or these are things she should have done from day one. She should have came in, hit the ground, and was able to answer questions, to talk in complete sentences that did not wind around the town. Go down to the woods, down to the creek, go down to the grocery store, stop by the hardware place and pick up keys, then get her tires rotated, then stop by the nail shop, and then come back and pretend to answer the question, but not, just to go right about the bend again, and then to pull again from her stump speech when she's ever confronted about a true policy. So no, it's not about perfection. But this border crisis has been her Achilles heel. But it hasn't just been a border crisis. It's the fact that our economy's been in the trash can, and she's a part of that administration. If you're a part of a team that sucks, a team that has lost game after game after game after game, then you wear that. And that's what she has to do. She has to wear that. And she, up until recently, up until being nudged, and we're talking about a week ago, it was only a week ago that she finally said, hey, I will not be a continuation of Joe Biden. It was like a Acme safe had to fall on her head from out of the sky like Roadrunner for her to realize it might be a good idea to separate yourself from the president that's polling at 36, 37%. The guy where inflation went up to 37 or 30% inflation. With some things where the prices doubled. Yeah, it might be a good idea to get away from that guy, if at all possible. And I guess somebody on the team finally came up with a bright idea and told her, maybe you could just say that, you will not be a continuation. That way Biden can't come out and rock you to sleep by blindsiding you and stabbing you in the back because you feel slighted. And maybe you can separate yourself just a little tiny bit so that people will think, well, maybe the economy will be better. Well, to me, that's too little too late, and it's pathetic. It's pathetic that you would not have a game plan for that. Now, you may call that having to be perfect or perfection or flawless. I call it just basic common sense. You can't position yourself as a change candidate and then not come up with a single damn thing that you would change from the last guy. And when they say, hey, you see anything different? Is there anything that you would do differently? You say, nothing comes to mind. These are not the actions of a person that is competent, let alone flawless. And let's face it, up to this point, most of the surrogates have been running around doing their best to get her to run on the hope and change of Obama. But this is not 2008. This is 2024. That book, that game plan, it worked once. It barely worked the second time for Obama. It damn sure isn't working now.
There were flashes of the Kamala that I know, who is really a true public servant. she really does work for real people.
I'm sorry. I'm just looking for a DM from somebody who gives a damn about how well you like Kamala. Because it sounds like everything that comes out of your mouth, Van Jones, is about your friend and you defending your friend. Meanwhile, we're trying to fight for our futures here. Black Americans are 14% of the population, but we're 40% of the homeless population. And that just ain't gonna cut it for our children and for our grandchildren. So we can't sit back and just be happy to help your friend make history. We have to focus on our futures. Not just her future, but our futures. You understand what I'm saying? Well, I sure hope I've answered your question. Is there anything else I can help you with? Well, see your way out. If you want to know what Michelle Obama said that has black people talking all over the internet, folks, you need to click this video right here. Because, yeah, she went there. And then I went there. See you on the next one.